Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is November 17th, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 181 of me answering your immigration related questions. As always, before beginning this video, I'm gonna mention, as I mention in every video, I am not an immigration attorney. This is not legal advice. All the information provided in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin. So let's start with the very first question from RR Creation. Due to the numerical limitations on immigrant visa issuance prescribed by law, this petition is not eligible for further processing at this time. The National Visa Center NVC will retain the petition until an immigrant visa becomes available. The NVC will notify the petitioner, principal applicant, or attorney of record when this petition is eligible for further processing. They approved I-130 for my brother and I got this. What's that mean, sir? So RR Creation, thank you very much for your question. Congratulations on your brother's I-130 being approved. So whenever it comes to brothers, sisters, siblings of US citizens, it's F4 category. And this is one of the family preference categories that takes the longest. Now, whenever it comes to this response, they are referring to the cap that is placed on the availability of the immigrant visas. Each fiscal year, there's a certain amount of 226,000 that are issued for the whole world. All right. So obviously that creates a lot of backlog, and we can see right now the reason why we have the visa bulletin is because we have the backlog, and the reason why we have backlog is because these visas that are issued, they are limited in number. So this response, this notification from them, it refers to that backlog. So what you can do, RR Creation, if you want, let me know in a separate comment. Don't respond to my comment within your comment. Don't respond to this, but post a separate comment, because if you respond to this, I don't see the notification. And let me know the priority date, chargeability area, and once again, let me know it's your brother, so I remember that this is F4. And I will take a look at the visa bulletin and will tell you approximately how much longer there's a wait that is involved. And it's a category that takes a very, very long time. If you look for all chargeability area right now for the availability of the immigrant visa, it's the priority dates are on April 2007, which means there's approximately, if you filed I-130 today and it is accepted today, there is roughly, judging by this, 16 years to wait before the immigrant visa becomes available, because the priority date is the date when the I-130 was received by USCIS, whenever they accepted it. So that's a very, it's a significant amount of time, and I can personally relate because I do have same exact petition. I have a petition for my brother, which we still have about 13 more years to wait. So I can definitely relate. But depending on the chargeability area, you see some of the chargeabilities, like for example, Philippines, India is 2 years longer than the rest of the world, and then Philippines another 3 years over India, and then Mexico is another 2 years over Philippines. So depending on where you're from, it might be quite different experience, overall. So let me know. 3 things I need for the visa bulletin predictions is the priority date, chargeability area, and the family preference category. And keep in mind that this is not going to be a 100% accurate prediction, not even close to being that close, because sometimes visa bulletin doesn't move at all because the backlog, it constantly keeps on accumulating. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Theandris. Thanks, sir, for your answering my question. God bless you always. God bless, Theandris. Hopefully my answer was helpful. Moving further to the next one from Richard Torku. Hi, I am in the F4 category. My case was approved in January 2010 and transferred to the NVC. Which of the graphs should I be paying attention to? Okay, Richard, so I don't think you had your NVC portal opened up yet, so I don't think you're documentarily qualified yet if you are in all chargeability area. But let's take a look. Let's take a look and double check, see what's going on. So the graph A, if we're looking at the graph A, the final action date, it shows the availability of the immigrant visa. All right, from the very beginning, when the immigrant visa becomes available for a person. Graph B, it shows when the NVC portal is going to be open so that you can start your documentary qualification. So if your NVC portal have not opened yet and you are not documentarily qualified yet, which I think that's the case in this particular situation, judging by your priority date, because you are in January 2010. So if we look at the graph B, F4, all chargeability, it's showing March 2008. So that means that roughly you have another 2 years and like 3 months, because you are in January 2010 and this is right now on March 2008. Actually, no, you have less than 2 years. January, March. No, actually you have more than 2 years, because going back 2 years from March, it's going to be March 2010 forward, obviously, because you're not, we're going back. And yeah, so you do have less because you're in January and not March. Okay, so you do have a little bit less than 2 years, like a year and 9 months roughly. But again, keep in mind, this is a very, very rough estimate, because Visa Bulletin, like for example, from November to December, Visa Bulletin did not move at all. And that's definitely not good news. And sometimes it retrogresses, so it moves backwards, which is not good. Ideally, we would like to see 1 month movement each month, but that's not always the case with Visa Bulletin. So with that being said, you have about a year and 9 months before your NVC portal opens up, before you can start your documentary qualification process. So you still have a little bit of time to wait, but I would still recommend actually looking into what that documentary qualification process entails, so that you're familiar with it, so that you can start preparing some documents. You know, for example, very, very important for documentary qualification, tax returns. You know, it's extremely important. So for the petitioner, if they have maybe some kind of issues with tax returns, or maybe they did not file something correctly, or whatever kind of situation might arise with it, there is a good amount of time for them to address it, okay? Because there's a little bit of time, so they can prepare as much as possible for the documentary qualification. I do have the video on this channel where I show the actual NVC portal that was already documentarily qualified. You can see all the forms that you need to fill out, affidavit of support, DS-260. You can see what kind of documents need to be uploaded, what kind of fees need to be paid. So check it out. It's called documentarily qualified. What does it mean? And it's uploaded on this channel. But yes, you still have a little bit of time before the NVC portal opens up. You're looking at the graph B for now. But if you're prepared, once it opens up, you can really, if you're familiar with the process, within like few days, if you have everything ready, within few days you can submit everything and become documentary qualified quickly. And then once you are documentary qualified, then you are looking at the graph A, and graph A is showing April 2007, which means that people with priority in April 2007, as of right now, December 2023, their immigrant visas are just now becoming available. Okay, so let me post a response here, and we're gonna move on to the next one from Elizabeth. Elizabeth, thank you for being a public subscriber on this channel. I really appreciate that. So Elizabeth says, "Hi, thank you for answering my question. I have another question. Do you know how is AOS for someone getting approved from EB2 and case pending asylum if applied to EB2 and IW when in F1 status?" Okay, so you're basically asking the difference between the adjustment status from EB2, if employment based immigration from the pending asylum, versus employment based from F1. If I'm understanding correctly, it's exactly the same. It really doesn't matter. The only thing that you need to be concerned about in these two different scenarios is with F1, you really don't need to worry about anything. Like once you switch from F1 to your employment base, that's it. F1, it expires on its own anyway. However, with the asylum, because the application is pending, you want to make sure that once you do have a positive movement on your employment base, once you do get your immigration status through the employment base, You want to make sure that your asylum application that is pending is withdrawn. Never have a separate immigration case going or being, that you're approved on that is moving faster, because, these asylum cases, they, as of right now, most of them, they take forever. And leave the pending asylum case pending, because if you do, it might cause some serious problems in the future. So you want to make sure that once you have good news on your employment base, that you reach out to the asylum office where your application is at and send them either, I don't know if you can go there. You could before, haven't dealt with it in a long time, but you could before, you could make an appointment over the phone and go to an asylum office to ask questions or do whatever. But even if you can't, just the regular cover letter explaining the situation is sufficient enough for them to just withdraw the application. But that's really it. That's really the only difference between the two. Okay, let me post the answer and we're gonna move on to the next one. Not the answer, it's a response, but you get the point. It's next one is from Osik Wartang. Hi sir. Hi, thank you for the earlier response. I left some information out. MOC Kwarteng, documentarily qualified July 2022, F1 category from Ghana, priority date January 2013, 08. Please help. All right, let's take a look at the visa bulletin. So you're from Ghana, so all chargeability area. Your priority date is in January 2013. So and you're already documentarily qualified. Congratulations. So let's take a look at the visa bulletin, F1, all chargeability area, and we are looking at this date right here. So right now it's showing January 2015, and you're in January 2013. You're January 2013. So you had your priority date current by visa bulletin. By visa bulletin, and I'm not saying it in general, because in general you had it longer current. But judging by the visa bulletin, for 2 years now, you had your priority date current. So with that being said, I'm gonna ask you, did you have any kind of delays in the processing of your case? Like, for example, when you're becoming documentarily qualified, let's say you're sending them the documents, and then 3 months later they come back and they say, oh, not enough this document, or this document is wrong, this whatever. So now you have to get a different document, upload it, wait another 3 months, something along those lines, right? Because the reason why I'm saying that is because you have been, current for 2 years now on the visa bulletin, and you only got documentarily qualified back in 2022, which is a little bit over a year ago, which does sound a little too recent, okay? So I'm thinking there might have been some kind of delays in the processing of your case. But anyway, with that being said, because you're current, because you're documentarily qualified, I am thinking your interview might have been already scheduled because you've been current for so long. So at this point now, we are just concentrating on the US Embassy in Ghana, where you're going to be going through your interview. Most likely they have your interview already scheduled, but they cannot announce your interview date 30 days earlier, more than 30 days earlier than the actual interview date. In very, very rare cases, it's 60 days. But most of the times it's 30 days. They do that because of medical examination. Once they schedule your interview, you'll have to go for a medical examination, and you have to have your medical examination done within the 30 days before the interview. That is the rule that is out there right now. So, couple things that you can do, all right? First of all, you can reach out to the US Embassy in Ghana. I'm gonna pull up the website where you can find, it's usembassy.gov, where you can find the list of all the countries, whatever country. So in your case, it's Ghana. Let's take a look. So Ghana, we're gonna click on that, and that is gonna give us US Embassy in Accra. So here we go. Here's their phone number. Give them a call. Say hey. Just be professional. Be polite. Always, as always. Say hey. I'm documentarily qualified. My priority date has been current for 2 years now. I want to see where my interview was scheduled for. Don't be upset if they don't give you that information. Most of the times they don't, but it is still worth a shot. Another option that you have is you can also, if you do have a good reason, you can request an expedited processing from NVC. Expedited processing really is not from NVC, but you are sending it to the NVC. And then NVC, they forward it to the US Embassy in Ghana in your situation. And then if US Embassy in Ghana can accommodate your expedited request, they can actually fit you in their schedule earlier than what your interview is scheduled for. That's the expedited processing. And you do need two criteria. You need to be documentarily qualified, and your priority date needs to be current. And obviously there's got to be a reason for your expedited processing request, which honestly for family reunification cases, we all have a good reason for the case to be expedited, all right? We all do have that. So yes, two options, take a look into that. I'm gonna post a link for this so that you can easily find it. And once you do, please come back to this channel and let me know what you decided to do and if it worked out for you. I would really appreciate the update on your case. Okay, moving further to the next one from Melissa. I think Harvey pronounced it correctly. Okay, got document qualified. Congratulations, September 21, 2023. Nice, just less than 2 months ago. My line says incomplete because I don't file taxes. WTF. Okay, Melissa, so let me ask you for a little bit more information. I'm assuming you're a petitioner on the case because you are dealing with filing taxes. If you are already documentarily qualified, that means that they have accepted all of your documents, including the taxes, because taxes are part of documentary qualification process. So, if your line says incomplete and you have your documents submitted, then most likely you are not documentarily qualified yet, because documentary qualification is only once NVC approves all the documents that you have submitted and all of them are showing complete. That's when you become documentary qualified. So the first time you submit all of the documents, until they are reviewed and approved, all of them, you're not documentarily qualified. I hope that makes sense. Because it's a little bit of a, in your comment, it's just a little bit of a contradiction for me, because you say you were documentarily qualified, which means that that's it. You don't even need to worry about anything else other than medical examination and interview. And if you're a petitioner, then you don't really need to worry about anything else at all, because now it's beneficiary doing the medical examination and going for the interview. That's it. But if there is still something in there in the NVC portal that says incomplete, it means that you are not documentary qualified yet. So if it's the taxes, then you do need to do some I would recommend reaching out to a good accountant, because even if you don't file taxes, you still need to file your tax returns, if that makes sense. So even if we don't have any kind of, because these are the documents. These are the documents that you are showing. Here's the goal of documentary qualification, right? The goal of documentary qualification, for the most part, yes, establish relationship and all of that, but it's mostly USAS that's doing that, establishing the relationship between the petitioner and the beneficiary. Whenever it comes to documentary qualification process, number one important thing to establish for them is that you are a capable petitioner sponsor. You can be a sponsor for the beneficiary, taking responsibility for everything that might happen when the beneficiary comes into the United States of America. That's what we do as petitioners. We guarantee that if the beneficiary comes to the United States and anything happens, whether it's, for example, medical emergency or whatever it is, that the petitioner will take responsibility and that the beneficiary is not going to claim anything, any kind of help, like, you know, Medicare, Medicaid, I don't know, from the government, basically, so that the beneficiary is can rely on the government help, basically, if anything happens. So, of course, with that being said, the financial aspect is extremely important whenever it comes to become documentarily qualified. And one of the only ways to show the finances, the layout, the breakdown of how much you're making, how much, you know, whether your business, whatever, or how much money you have in general. Because think about this, even if you don't have like any kind of income from work, you're being a petitioner sponsor, so you're saying that you're capable to support the beneficiary. So you must have some kind of income. Maybe for example, if you have, let's say, if you don't have like an employer, but let's say you have investments that bring you a certain amount of money, you would still have the tax forms that you would have to file each by between the January and April, I think, the tax season when you need to file the taxes. You would still do that, and that would show that yes, you have a certain amount of money coming in, and show that you are a capable petitioner sponsor for the beneficiary. So Melissa, hopefully that makes sense. If you have any kind of follow-up questions about that, let me know in the comments below. Just don't respond to my comment within your comment, because it doesn't give me notifications for whatever reason. Just submit it as a separate comment on any of the videos here, either the same one or this particular video, and I will try to get back to that. But hopefully you can figure that out. I would definitely recommend reaching out to an accountant. If you never filed taxes, that's one of the things that is required whenever it comes to documentary qualification process. So most likely what needs to happen is you need to work with an accountant so that everything that hasn't been filed, that it can be filed, and you can get the documents that you can present to the NVC for their review. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Aji or Ahi Thomas. Dear sir, I'm an Indian waiting for F3 priority date to become current. Priority date March 2009, approved July 2010, visa bulletin filing date current June 2020, documentarily qualified March 2021, elder child date of birth May 1998. In this case, the new rule of CSPA calculation as per February 14, 2023 is applicable or not? Awaiting your reply. Okay, thank you very much for the question. Provided all of the details. So you are in F3. You're waiting in F3. Let's take a look at the visa bulletin and see what's going on. So F3 is a married sons and daughters of US citizens. So right now, F3 for India is showing January 2009. And I think that's what you said. No, you didn't. Okay, so your priority date is in March 2009. So judging by the visa bulletin, you are roughly 3 months away from your immigrant visa availability. Now, you do have your child who is born 1998. So right now they are, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna be slow because my math is horrible. So let me actually open up a calendar, not the calendar, calculator, so that I'm not as slow. So 1998, so we're gonna do 2023 minus 1998. So right now they're 25. Let me write it down somewhere. I'm gonna write it down right here. So they are 20 years old right now. And actually that is a really excellent question, because I wanted to show opportunity for people who are interested in CSPA for a while now. So let's see, the approved, we are looking at when so you submitted priority date March 2009. So 2009 March, so 2009 is PD, and approved on July 2010. So 7/2010. Okay, so how do we calculate the CSPA, if it's applicable or not? What we do is we subtract from the approval date, we subtract the priority date, which leaves us with just over a year and March to July. So you got March, April, May, June, July. So roughly a year and 4 months. So year and 4 months, I'm gonna type it up here on my side note. So year and 4 months. So this is the amount of time. And unfortunately, that is the case for all 4 family preference categories. It's only not the case for the immediate relative category. But for all of us, for forced family preference category, unfortunately, that is the case. So you can subtract from current age of your child, you can subtract that year and 4 months when the petition, when the I-130 petition was pending with USCIS. So right now they're 25 years old. You can subtract a year and 4 months. Even if it was 2 years, they'd still be over 21. They would be 23 plus years in the eyes of Department of State, Homeland Security, USCIS, whoever's behind all of this mess. But so unfortunately no, your child won't be able to go under the CSPA, unfortunately. Whenever it comes to immediate relative categories, the age freezes once the I-130 petition is accepted. Unfortunately, that's not the case for family preference categories. You can only subtract from current age the amount of time the petition was pending. So I would definitely recommend for you to start working on a plan for your child to travel with you, and that involves whether you want to go. You probably want to go non-immigrant route. For example, if it's B1, B2 would be a good idea. F1, J1. So B1, B2 is a regular visitor, right? So if your child can get a regular visitor visa, at least they can travel back and forth. They can come here with you. They can travel back. They can come here visit you again, while you start a separate petition for them. And then from then on, once you do start your petition, obviously it's going to be a different category for your child. But that seems to be the only reasonable route that you can save the time where you're not seeing your child. And then F1, student, if you can find an educational facility for your child here in US, or a J1, an exchange program if your child is currently enrolled in some kind of school, university in your home country. So yeah, these are some of the things that you definitely need to consider, because unfortunately you can't subtract a lot. You can only subtract a year and 4 months. If your I-130 petition was pending for, let's say, 4 or 5 years, then yeah, you would have been, your child would have been still qualifying under the CSPA, but it's unfortunately not in this case. Okay, let me post a response here, and we're gonna move on to the next one from user. Unfortunately, it doesn't show me the name, YouTube. Hello sir, I enjoy your videos. I'm in F category, priority date, October 2015, documentarily qualified, April 2023, I'm in Jamaica. When do you think I will get my interview? Okay, so which F category? Because there's, 5 of them, because there's F2A, F2B. So please let me know which F category, and I will take a look at the visa bulletin, but I definitely need to know which number of the category, please. So I'm gonna post need more info here, and we're gonna move on to the next one from Mushila L. Documentary qualified, 14th December 2022. Still no interview. NVC still has my case, Nairobi. Okay, Mushila, I'm definitely gonna need the family preference category for this as well to take a look at the visa bulletin. So please come back and let me know. I'm gonna type in need more info as well here. More info. And for everyone, if you're asking about, when is my interview, when will I immigrate with my, being in a family preference categories, or when I'm gonna be, when my NVC portal is gonna be open. Any of these questions, I need 3 things. I need the family preference category, whether you're F1, F2A, F2B, F3, F4. I need to know the priority date. If you're documentarily qualified, let me know when you were documentarily qualified. It's going to be helpful. I don't need it, but it would be helpful. And then chargeability area, which country you're from, because some of the chargeability areas, it can vary quite a lot. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Srinivas Reddy. So Srinivas says, hi, Mr. Schaefer. I don't know who Mr. Schaefer is. I'm not Mr. Schaefer, but I have approved I-797 valid till September 2025. However, my dependent's H4 visa extension of stay, I-539, is in process. Is it okay if I alone travel outside of the United States for a month while they are in US? We'll be coming back with new visa stamping. Stamping expired in August 2023. Okay, so you do have the approved I-797 valid till September 2025. However, your dependent's H4 visa of stay is in process. Is it okay? Yeah, so as long as you have your immigration status, then you're gonna be, you're gonna be traveling without any problems. Absolutely your dependents should not be traveling because they do have the I-539 in process, and while you have the I-539 in process, you cannot travel outside of the United States because that will basically void their I-539 application. So you definitely don't want to be doing that. But as far as, for yourself traveling, you should not have any problems at all with that. So thank you very much everyone for asking your questions today. Appreciate it. Hopefully my answers were helpful. If you have any follow-up questions, let me know in the comments below and I will be happy to address them. Thank you for watching. God bless. I'll see you all in the next video.